Good morning. Good morning. I'm Deborah Baum, Chair of the 9th Congressional District Democratic Committee. I think the rain is holding up a few folks from arriving. From the committee, welcome to Clifton Forge and the Historic Masonic Theatre for our second of our 4 candidate forums. For those that are not able to attend the forum today, this is being broadcast on our 9th CD Facebook page as a live event. We encourage you to post and tweet. However, please preserve the bandwidth by not broadcasting yourselves, since we already have that in place. The Wi-Fi password is on the screen. I don't know, it's not popped up yet, but so please post and tweet as we move on. The 9th District fared extremely well for nearly 30 years under the Democratic Congressman Rick Boucher, and his efforts can be seen all across the district. His GOP successor in that office has hardly been seen in 8 years. It's time, past time, for a change, and we have candidates to do just that. In 108 days, on June 12th, we have a Democratic primary, and you will choose our nominee for Congress. Today, in the northernmost county of the 9th District, we invite you to meet our candidates, Anthony Flacavento and Justin Santapietro. I want to say a couple things. If you have not yet gotten involved with your local committee, please contact them. You will find their information on our website, va9thcddems.com. You will find all of that information on your ticket. It has all of the Facebook page for our committee, our website, along with both Justin and Anthony's information. So please check that out and share with friends. And our candidates need 1,000 petition signatures to be placed on the ballot. And it's tradition that we sign each of their petitions. If you have not already done so, you will find them on the tables in the lobby. It is vital that you strongly support your candidate, but it is equally important to know that since our 2 Democratic candidates are light years better for our district than the person currently occupying the office, we will all come together and support and elect our nominee. And after June 12th, we will all come together. Agreed? Agreed. Some thank yous are in order. Thank you to the Alleghany Highlands Democratic Committee, if you will please stand, and also to the chair, Dr. Ron Goins, and his wife, Susan. Thank you to the members of the 9th Congressional District Democratic Committee. Some of them are here today. If you will stand. Thank you to our elected officers, current and past, some whom are here today. If you will please stand. Thank you. I was passed along a name. I felt like there were a couple here, but maybe they're outside in the lobby chatting. Thank you to our moderator and my good friend and yours, Senator Creed D. The purpose of the forum is to introduce our candidates for you to hear their views. The candidates will each have opening and closing remarks, each up to 2 minutes. Questions asked of the candidates today come from 2 sources: publicly submitted and from the audience here today. In addition to many of the questions already submitted, you have the index cards to submit a question from which 2 or more will be selected. If you would like to write down a question, the postcards and pencils are out in the lobby. They will be picked up shortly. Our moderator will ask the questions of each candidate. They can respond up to 2 minutes, and then the moderator can ask a brief follow-up, to which each candidate can respond up to 1 minute. The candidates will alternate who answers first to each question posed, and this forum beginning with Anthony Flacavento. Our timekeeper today is our 9th CD Secretary, Kim Geppetto. Our candidates that are here with us today: Justin Santapietro is born and bred in Southwest Virginia, who is running for the 9th Congressional District Democratic nomination in 2018. He is experienced public policy and government affairs professional who worked in Washington, D.C. for several years. He spent his career in the U.S. Senate as a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Center of Effective Government, and the Credit Union National Association. Other than the years he spent in the nation's capital, Justin has lived his entire life in Southwest Virginia, spending countless hours hiking the Appalachian Trail, paddling and fishing the New River, and biking up and down the Blue Ridge Mountains. Justin deeply treasures the natural beauty of Southwest Virginia, and its culture, and the Barter Theater to Floyd Fest, to the Galax Old Fiddlers Convention. He wants to put experience to work by representing his Southwest Virginia home and the United States House of Representatives. Anthony Flacavento. Anthony is a farmer, small business owner, and economic development consultant from Abingdon, Virginia, who has lived and worked in Virginia's 9th District for 32 years. He is married to Laurel Flacavento, a retired public school teacher, and is a father of Josh and Maria and Alex. Anthony will be working congressperson who restores real representation and fights to level the playing field for the people in the 9th. His practical experience and accomplishments working with local leaders, entrepreneurs, farmers, and young people across much of the district uniquely equipped him to address the challenges we face. Anthony has a bachelor's degree in agriculture and environmental science from the University of Kentucky, and a master's degree in economic and social development from the University of Pittsburgh. He is an author of the book Building a Healthy Economy from the Bottom Up, along with many published articles and op-eds. Our moderator, Senator Cree Deeds, began his public service in 1987 when he was elected to serve as the Commonwealth's Attorney of Bath County. He has represented the 25th District since 2001, and prior to that, he was a member of the House from 1992 to 2001. He serves on 3 Senate standing committees. The first one, Courts of Justice. The second is Privileges and Elections. And third, Transportation. He was the Democratic nominee for Attorney General of Virginia in 2005 and Governor of Virginia in 2009. He is married to Siobhan. He is a member of Millboro Presbyterian Church. Senator Deeds chairs the Joint Subcommittee to study mental and health services in the 21st century. He also serves on the Small Business Commission, the Standards of Learning Innovation Committee, the State and Water Commission, the Joint Commission on Transportation, Accountability, and the Joint Committee to study Interstate 73. I'd now like to turn over the forum to our moderator, Senator Deeds.
Thank you all very much, and thanks for coming. Bobby Kennedy wrote once, said that it's easy for each of us to sit in the comfort of our friends, to have a quiet life in business, and just enjoy life. The more difficult life, and the one that's more rewarding, is that of public service. So I want to applaud these candidates. These people. We're going to start with opening statements from each one of them, and I think Anthony Placavento, you're first, so you have 2 minutes.
Thanks, Senator. Well, I'm delighted to be here with you all this morning. It's a fabulous gathering, not such a great day, but a beautiful, beautiful place. Thanks to the 9th Congressional District Committee for the work they did, and for Senator Deeds for moderating. You know, it's interesting to me that we've had two. This is our second forum of the 9th District Committee candidate forums, and both of them have been in restored historic downtown theaters, first in Penn-to-Gap, and then in this beautiful place in Clifton Forge. And it makes me aware of the fact that so much of the good work that's happening in the 9th District is about building on our assets, building on our strengths. They range from our land and our forests to our downtowns and our historic buildings. And when we do that, and the work that I've been privileged to be part of the last 30-some years has been a lot about finding those assets, building on them, and developing our strengths together. And yet, we're at a time in our country where, in most respects, we're doing just the opposite with the policies that are coming from this administration. We're not building on our assets, we're undermining them and tearing them down. We're not cultivating our strengths together, we're pulling us apart. So the real question we face right now is, can we change that? Can one guy, in this case, change it? And I think the answer is yes, so long as all of us take on this task and do the everyday work that we have to do in our own places, in our own towns, in our communities, building ourselves and our neighbors up, and then getting a representative to Congress who will work with you, truly represent you, to help continue to cultivate those strengths. That's what I hope to do. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Deeds, and thank you all for coming here this afternoon now. It's great to be here in Clifton Forge, one of my favorite. This Alleghany area is one of my favorite parts of the state. I grew up in Blacksburg, and we had a lot of fun stuff to do there, but I remember back when I was still a teenager, the first time I came up here was to do something called the Bath County Triathlon in beautiful Lake Mooma, and since then I have absolutely fallen in love with this area, and especially Lake Mooma, and I've been up here many, many times. I've had really good times up here, whether it was camping or fishing on the Jackson River. In fact, my friends and I, right out of high school, after we graduated high school, instead of going to the beach like some people do, we actually came up to Lake Mooma and camped up here. You know, it's almost like the water is so clean. It's so peaceful up there, it's almost like you're at the beach, but you know, it's only an hour and a half drive instead of 4 or plus, and so we go up there, it's peaceful, people would leave us alone, and we could have fun when we were still young. Now it's been a few years since I've done that, but I've gotten a little more serious about things since then, and even though I'm a young man, I like to say that I'm running as an old school Democrat, and basically what that means is more in the vein of FDR, Lyndon Johnson, Harry Truman, and the many senators and congressmen at the time who you could really call statesmen. They were there because they believed in public service, as Cree said. They understood that this job requires an extra degree of effort and labor and making sure you're connected to the people. And so that means focusing the federal government on the material improvements in people's lives. As much as possible, focusing on the economics, on health care, and that's what they did. They passed some of the most seminal pieces of legislation. Really, everything that's made the lives we have today were passed by Democrats. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, environmental protection, consumer protection, the list goes on and on. We've always been on the right side of history, and we should not be ashamed to say that, especially now. So that's why I'm running for Congress, and I hope I'll have your support. Thank you.
Okay, the rules give me the prerogative, I guess, to ask follow-up questions, and I just want you to know that my instructions here say we're supposed to finish questions by 11:55 so we can get out of here. That means that I'm going to keep my questions to a minimum because I want your questions to be asked.
The Woodlands Health and Rehab Center is the right choice for rehab at home. Our therapy department, with the assistance of our experienced clinical team, will transition you home quickly and safely. The Woodlands Health and Rehab Center, living made better.